Hey, live. It's Wednesday, y'all. Tracy Allen, living in my truth. Another blessed day. Another blessed Wednesday. I got my girl here, Coretta, a.k.a. Lynn.
From the BHP.
That's right. I got my sister here tonight. And we're going to get it in and give some good information and education off today. Tonight, I'm going to let you know what she wants to speak about and talk about. And you know how we just join in and we do what we do. You know? Again. Okay. See, sometimes it'll do this. Girl, you see it came right on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't usually do that, girl. Don't usually do that. Hey.
No, I can't even see.
Adrian, how you doing? That's why I have this one, because I can't see a thing.
I know.
Hey, Adrian, how you doing? Welcome aboard. Hey, Mike. How you doing? Hey, Miss T. If nobody told you they love you today, I do. Well, hey, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about mental health, too, today.
Yeah.
You know, Mike, so this is going to be really good, you know, for what we all going to be discussing down here. Hey, Letty. Hey, Marta, you came back on, girl, my girl. There you go. Hello, sisters. Yeah, I got my girl here, y'all. Miss Coretta, a.k.a. Lynn. Some of you know her as Lynn. Put these glasses on because I can't see.
I can't see. I don't know if I'll put mine on or not.
I can't see a thing. You ain't got to worry about it. You just going to be talking. I'm going to be reading some names. Hey, Rachel. How you doing? Oh, Marta gave you some hands.
Okay,
Marta. Thank you. Marta. Mm-hmm. Let me put my Cash App on here, too. Okay, y'all. I did put my oh, wait a minute. If you want to send a donation, you can. Cash App. There you go. Alrighty. Alright, y'all. Let me see, who am I missing? Hey, Michelle. Shelly's on. Shelly's on.
Praise the Lord, sis.
Hey, sister. Hey, Teresa. That's girl. She's in every single week. Teresa,
That's a blessing.
you can go to my sisters and get your gift too. I sent your gift there. I told you. I don't know if you received my message or not. Thank you for the star, Marta. Appreciate it. Anybody else that want to send stars tonight, that'd be blessed. A very blessed thing, you know, or send any donations to For You by Tracy. For any type of donation, any cost, 50 cents, $1, 75 cents, whatever you can, you know, to help keep Living in My Truth going strong so we can see the next Ellen NT Award. I would appreciate it very, 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 very much. Hey, Coretta, a.k.a. Lynn. Amen, absolutely. Y'all, it's going to be a great show tonight. We're going to have a lot of good stuff, good information to share tonight. This is why Coretta has came on. You know, she's going to share some of her story and her strengths and hopes, you know, in her life. You know, I told her whatever she want to share, share. You know what I mean? That's what we on here for. Because no matter what we share, we help somebody. We always help the next still suffering and the next person. We help people to come forth and to want, you know, to
Not being ashamed.
that's right, share and not be shamed about certain situations in our lives. And Coretta's going to be based on mental health, you know. So, you know, we always, hey, Jeffrey.
There goes Stacy. Hey, Jeffrey. Hey, Stacy, classmate Jeff.
There you
and
go.
Stacy Love.
There you go. Thanks for coming on. Hey, Stacy. Thanks for coming on. Stacy gonna be a part of Living in My Truth LNMT Award next year. She was rewarded this year.
She was on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
She stayed, love her award. Everybody did. It was a beautiful time, wasn't it,
Say,
Stacy?
hey, Jeff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, hey, Kiana. Mwah, mwah.
Kiana, we're here before BHP.
Kiana Fun was
Kiana.
always on. Yeah. How you doing, Key? Y'all remember, can be purchased, Living in My Truth tumblers.
I'm gonna get my stuff together too.
Absolutely, Living in My Truth tumblers. That's right. Go ahead, blow this thing up. Blow it up. Who's that? Jeffrey Jesus Boy Anderson. Get on the couch. Come on. Let me send them power punches right back. Come on, baby. The couch is waiting for you. I got it all decorated up, y'all. I hope y'all catch that on Facebook. Ready for you to come on and enjoy, you know, and enjoy and helping people through these holidays. Y'all know holidays is the hardest time for suffering people for whatever they're dealing with and suffering. So I decided that I'm going to come on a couple more times, you know, more than what I usually do. You know, I think if I came on, like take another night and come on as well, you know, twice a week instead of once a week, I'm quite sure that we can help, still help much and many more people. And timing can be a factor sometimes. You know, like some of you come on and off and be having Bible study. You know what I mean? So I'll make it at a different fraction of time. Like just getting off, you know, stuff like that. Whatever's going to work for you is going to work for me. You know what I mean? That's going to work for the still suffering. You follow what I'm saying? You know, and the families that are interested in our lifestyles, you know, to get to know who we are, how we work, and what we deal with. You know what I mean? And to know that God will take care of us and restore our sanity. You follow? So we can live on life terms, loving Him and putting Him first. Amen. You know, we can be saved. We can be blessed to be to get rid of the sicknesses that we all deal with. You know what I mean? We just have to have the faith and know that He's there. You know, and He will provide, and that's a fact. I know because I'm living proof.
Yes, me too.
You know, Michelle said, amplifies the uplifting, sis. Absolutely. I miss you on here, girl. I miss when you're not here, Shelly. It's been a while. That's my girl. I know that's right too, Teresa. You know. Marty, you want 2 gift boxes with a tumbler and a candle? I'm going to send you stars too. I mean hearts too. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. You know, I will have those boxes made up for you, and I definitely will put it in. You want 2 boxes with candles and a cup. If I'm saying it correct. Absolutely. Anybody. Hey, Lynn Lori.
Hey, Lynn.
Every time I saw you, this was the reason. This is what I said. I want to call you or talk to you so you can come on the show. You know what I mean? And experience what we do on this show and come sit on the couch. You know, you would be a perfect guy to come sit on this couch, Lynn. You know. Tara Clayton, how you doing? Michelle says, He will sustain us. I'm so grateful. Absolutely, Shelly. We live in proof, huh? I know. He sure enough will. You know. And I miss you. I really do. You know, sometimes a lot of my people, you know, when we first started, comes back. You know what I mean? And they always do. you know, and it's just a joy to see you back because I'm so used to seeing you. And another T-shirt.
Yeah,
Look at this.
There's Aretha.
And another T-shirt. I'll let you know what color. Okay, Marta, I have that down. I promise you I have it done. Look, y'all, we have a Living in My Truth boutique, you know, and in the boutique I sell T-shirts, jewelry, pocketbooks, socks. Y'all, I got Living in My Truth socks.
Yes.
And them pocketbooks is coming, ladies, I'm telling you. You know, them leather bags, they coming. You know, I'm trying to do, hey, best friend, hey, Ange, what's happening? I got hoodies, I got sweatshirts, picture frames with the logo, Living in My Truth. And I did redid my bathroom over, y'all, and I took the 2 that I had, but there can be more pictures with Living in My Truth logo on it, and I put them in there, girl, they sharp. This is what I'm saying. You can do a lot with these things, you know, and to modernize and still, you know, your home. So I have them in small frames, and I have them in frames with pictures and acclamations on them, you know, as well. I am going to open the boutique back up tomorrow, so y'all could be looking out for that. Again, if you want to leave a donation, I do have my Cash App on here, and if you want to send stars, that would be a blessing as well. Kiana, I love your hair, Miss Tracy. Thanks, Kia. I was just sitting here talking to her, girl. I'm also going gray. I said if people can wear blue hair, red hair, orange hair, and purple hair, I might as well let mine go gray. You know what I mean? So I got the sisters locks in, and I'm working with the process, girl, but I'm loving it. I am. I have the patience. I asked God to give me the patience, and guess what? I'm just waiting. I'm just going to let it do what it do. But thank you so much. Michelle, you said, you know, I run my mouth about this goodness, as you should. As you should. Y'all, I'm just loving the hearts and the comments, and I miss y'all. You know what? Y'all come on here more when I got a guest. You better start coming on here.
See, he got it in from the PA.
But me like that, I got a girl on here. She blown up. That's what I'm talking about. See how people love you, come out. I tell you, this is going to be such a great show. We're going to get ready to get it started. Hey, Jack. What's up, my sis? We're going to get it started in a few minutes, but y'all popping up on here so much. You know me, and y'all run my mouth every time I see a name pop up. I can't help it because it's such a blessing to have you all come on here and check this out. You know, because I'm trying to help people,
we love
and
Lynn.
you helping people. Who said that?
Kiana
said we love Lynn. That's what I'm talking about. Denise Nichols. Thanks for coming on, Denise. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. All right, y'all, we're going to get started. We're going to talk. I'm going to give Lynn, you know, the mic here so that we can get started with the process of mental health exists.
She got on there. Hey,
who is it?
Lynn, Patricia.
Jules.
Pat Jules. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Hey, Pat. She got on there.
This is going to be titled Mental Health Exists Even If You Don't See It in a Person. Okay, so I'm going to give this to Lynn. Hey, Aretha.
Yeah, that's Reese. Hey, Reese.
I'm going to give this to Lynn here, and we're going to get this party started right.
First of all, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning and starting me on my way. Had some trials and tribulations. You know, I've been on live. I went on live 12 midnight. God laid on my heart. People were going through in the middle of the night. There's something about the midnight hour. But God will turn it around. He will turn it around for your good no matter what's going on. And then as I kept going on for that for 3 months, then he changed it. You got to go where God wants you to go, whichever direction he had you to go. So then he laid on my heart at 5:30. I've been doing that. Then I started having problems with the phone. Then I started going through situations and stuff that was, you know, that hindered me.
Mm-hmm.
But then people like, where's she at? You looking for, you know, I'm looking for Sister Coretta. I'm looking for Lynn. And it's not even about us. Like right now, it's not about us.
Mm-hmm.
It's about God using us to be a vessel to help somebody else.
Go ahead.
Because a lot of times when people with mental illness, it don't look like it. Like, it don't look like I've been going through mental illness for over 20-something years.
All these years, I would have never known it.
Back in 2001, I was diagnosed with bipolar.
Mm.
I was going through some things, and it was like, well, are you on drugs? Are you doing this? And I never touched drugs like that before. Now, I tried a little weed before, but I'm talking about hard drugs or none of that kind of stuff. So sometimes people, what you want to call it, insinuate or assume that mental illness is just strictly because of drugs, but it can be trauma in your life.
Absolutely.
It can be something that was devastating your childhood or something that you suppressed, and then it comes up, and then it just takes a toll on you. But my thing is,
without being able to talk about it.
Without being able to talk about it, and then being stereotyped or discriminated against. When you say, oh, I have a mental illness or I have bipolar, they don't look at it like, oh, like when you have cancer. They have sympathy for you. If we have, diabetes or them kind of diseases, they look at you, they give you sympathy, but then when you say you have mental illness, oh, she ain't crazy, she acting crazy, nothing wrong with her, she getting a crazy check. I done heard it all. Or she don't look like she going through nothing. And you do be going through something, but it's just sometimes it's just what they call it, when they keep it down undercover. Can't think of the word that I want to say, but
suppressing it,
but when people like try to cover it up, like they go through something, but they cover it up because they don't want people to think that they're crazy.
Oh, those are masks they're wearing.
Right, they want people to think they're crazy or something wrong.
Yeah.
Because I had a couple of guys that told me that they thought they had bipolar, but they didn't want to take the medicine, they didn't want to go through this, they don't want their family to know this and that. But my thing is, if you have to take the medicine, it's not saying you got to take it forever.
Right.
But to get stable, to do what needs to be done, then that's what you need to do. I moved from Chester, and I stay, and it's like I run into so many women that tell me, I had, suffered with bipolar, depression, I was suicidal, stuff like that.
So there's people that's like you just bump into on the street,
yeah,
or
like,
you go to some type of.
Sometimes it's like just an everyday thing. Like one time when my son was younger, my youngest son, he was in the park playing. And this lady sat down by me, was talking about the kids and everything, and she just said, I suffer from bipolar. And I was like, what? And she was like, yes. She was just telling me how, she had to get a payee, and how if she don't do what they say, they'll 302 her and take her check and spend her money up.
Wow, that has been such neglect over the years with people who has mental health sickness. It's like crazy. I hear it all the time.
I used to get 302 a lot, and it was like, especially with my ex-husband. I've been divorced, thank God, for 5 years, and going on 6. And he was very controlling, and he knew what to do, because before he married me, he would go to therapy with me. He would go to the doctors with me. So
perfect person, wasn't it? Perfect man in your life, wasn't it?
Thought he was. And then when he wants to control and do something his way, and I don't want to do it, he would make it seem like I'm having an episode. So then he can get me 302 and get a paper trail. So then I was getting a paper trail on me, so they not believe when I say. And then when I got to the point where I'm like, okay, well, if I'm staying calm, everything gonna be okay. But it wasn't, because they looking at it now, oh, she got a paper trail. They come to the house, police come to the house to get you, and they looking like, she ain't doing nothing. But we got to take her because the paper trail.
Because the paper trail.
Well, so a lot of times when people look at you, they don't know what you actually been through. They don't know what you actually been through until you start talking about it. And then when you start talking about it, sometimes they judge you or look at you differently. But then sometimes it's like they have sympathy because somebody in their family, it's always somebody in your family that's going through mental illness. I don't care if you're rich, poor, or whatever. It's
like back in the day, they kept all that type of thing like a secret, and you couldn't really talk about nothing. You know what I mean? Mental health been going on for decades. It's been going on for years. You know what I mean? And people was embarrassed by that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So for you to have been suppressing it for so many years has built up. That's trauma. Yeah, that's a lot of trauma. You know, and you didn't hear about mental health back then. You know, today it's open. You know what I mean? That's all you hear because it's connected with so many different things. You know what I mean? Working in the rehab for all the years that I've worked in, actually as being a recovering person, I've experienced mental health. You know what I mean? It works in others maybe different than it worked in me, you know, but I could talk about mental health because it took me through a trauma. It took me through so many things that I never thought in a million years that I would do, that I wasn't ready to tell when I did it, you know, or the things of people touching me when I was younger, you know what I mean, and I couldn't tell that they was doing it, you know what I mean, and I just forgot about it, let it go. You know what I mean? But then in times, we suppress it. You know what I mean? So I definitely know where you're coming from. And when you have somebody that just have a plan for you, knowing your situation, man, that's a dagger.
Set up from the enemy from the door.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times people think, oh well, you was on drugs, you were doing this and that. I was doing none of that. It was just to the point where, you know, I had bad relationships, dealing with bad relationships.
Y'all hear this? It don't always have to be drugs that cause this.
Now, I did used to party, and go to clubs and bars and stuff, but I never had the desire to want to drink and smoke it. Like, it was around me, but God was protecting me all that time.
Absolutely.
Like, all the time I would see people talking, smoking, snorting right in front of me. But it's just I didn't have the desire to do it. They didn't address it to me like, oh, you want to try it? You want to try that? None of that. So my thing is, you have to know somebody's story before you start judging.
Go ahead.
Before you start judging and looking like, oh well, if they wasn't doing this, that wouldn't happen. Or if they wasn't doing this, that wouldn't happen. Because you don't know.
That's right.
When I see people talking to themselves or out there homeless, and I get to hear their story, like what's going on? Like, you know, it's easy to just give them $1 or two and just get on. But when
some
you
just
want to
be heard.
Just want to be heard.
Talk.
Need prayer. You know, because God is just able to do and change anybody.
That's right.
It was a story in the Bible when it talks about Saul before he was Paul. He was killing Christians, and just because they was Christians, he killed them. But then he converted over. When he converted over, people were scared. They like, oh, that's the one that killed this one and that one. But God can use anybody. He can do whatever He want to do.
Go ahead.
Go
ahead. You've been talking.
So I'm just here to just encourage somebody, because mental illness don't look like what it seems. You know, because somebody can say, oh, I didn't know Lynn, you know, she was struggling, you know, going through what she was going through. But I'm here to tell you that I'm an overcomer by the blood of the Lamb.
Go ahead.
And God can change and do anything that He want to do.
By all means.
He can use anybody that He want to use.
That's right.
I was struggling. Should I come here? Should I not come here? Somebody need to hear this. Somebody need to know that. Don't be ashamed to get help if you feel like you having mental problems, because God wants you to be made whole spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and socially. He wants you to be made whole in Him.
Amen.
And every time people pick and choose what they want to be, oh, I want to be physically fit or whatever like that, or they're not looking at the spiritual part, or they want to be financially stable. He wants you to be made whole all the way around.
That's right.
And that's where I'm at right now in the stage of my life. When I was married, and you know, when you marry, your mate know a lot about you.
Absolutely.
And they study you or whatever. And I said, you know, it had to be a setup, because I know that I've been, you know, since I was little, 3 years old, my grandfather introduced me to the Lord. And I always had, even though when I was out in the street, I always had that conscience that I'm doing something wrong. But you know, you hang with your friends, you're doing what you want to do, big and bad enough to do. But then it's still a small voice in the back of your mind saying, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. You know you shouldn't be doing that, or whatever. And then, you know, being with guys as drug dealers and guys out in the street and stuff like that. But when I met him, I thought, oh, you know, he into the church. You know, he gonna be the one. And you know, I just was blinded by his works. And say his works, what he doing in the church.
Everybody in the church ain't right.
Right, but he had another side of him that, you know, you you soft as a lamb, but then you're a roaring lion, a wolf in sheep's clothing. And I went through that for 13 years. I was with him and married for 9. But it's like that controlling thing. Like when I can't control you, I know you got paperwork on you. You know, I know that you suffer from this and that. I know the triggers because they're going to believe me because I'm your husband.
These all the things that he made you feel good about. He used them as a weapon towards you.
And I was very independent. You know, when he met me, I wasn't, I've never been the clingy type to cling to a guy.
Right.
Or just say, oh, I can't live without you and stuff like that. But I was in love, and I thought it was going to be different because I was married. And it was just, it was terrible. It was like, it's like the devil put people in your life to try to tear you apart, break you down, give you low self-esteem. Because I never had none of that.
Oh, yeah.
No low self-esteem. You know, I'm the life of the party. I'm like, I'm here.
That's right.
I'm here. And then it was like talking to one of my friends, and he was like, "Is he jealous of you? I mean, he's trying to really tear you apart, or whatever like that." And I was like, I had to really sit back and think what really was going on. I'm still going through some stuff with him right now.
So before you saw all this in him, the love that you had for him made you blind to what he was actually doing. Is that what you're saying?
What he was actually into, because you know how, like, if you love somebody,
they can
have
do
love
wrong.
for them.
Yeah.
But when you in love with somebody, it's like they can't do nothing. You don't
do no wrong.
You
can't
do
say
whatever
nothing
for
about
them.
him, whatever.
You do whatever for him. I didn't care if my mom didn't like him. I didn't care if my sister didn't like him. I didn't care who didn't like him. Like, you're marrying me. You know, it's gonna be me, you, and God, and it's just like.
In the devil advocate's hands. Is what you're saying. Yeah, that's vicious. That's vicious. Sometimes love can make you really believe things are this and things are that. But for me, love, I know what love feels like today. You know, like you, back in the day, you know, I fell in love, you know, with men, you know, and had kids by, you know, 3 different men. You know what I mean? And today, you know, you tell your men, you know, pillow talk, you know, things that, you know, would be between you and them, and you can tell them some of your story. I never talk about my other man, though. I just don't do it because I fear just that. You know what I mean? Because they will use it against you. You know, for some reason it just always happens. I hear it all the time, even through, you know, friends talking, you know, me and friends talking and stuff like that. I always say, you never tell them, you know, about the last one. You know, that was just down with that. You know what I mean? Because it ain't none of their business. One, you know what I mean? And some men who have not yet become a real man will use those tendencies against you. You know what I mean? And they'll throw it at you like torches. You know what I mean? To really get you. But like you said, in the mental part of that, you know, you just still loving them. You know what I mean? Like it's no wrong of what they're doing. Yeah. When you finally seen, you know, that the script was split.
Right.
You know, with these guys. This kind of conversation is heavy for me. You know what I mean? Because I can't stand men like that. I really can't. You know, today I pray for them. I do that. You know what I mean? But they will. They can get right down and dirty with you. You know what I mean? Knowing that they wrong. You follow? But then they know your weaknesses.
Right.
Like you said, you share so much with them. You know what I mean? They took it and they used it as a weapon on you, yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't like that out of men. I don't like it. I'm still praying on that part for me in my life, even for you, for what you've been going through. You know what I mean? This is a heavy conversation for me.
Yes.
I'm falling back on some of the things I really want to say. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna let you go ahead and finish. I think I better listen. You follow what I'm saying? Go ahead.
So it's like I said, we met at church and stuff like that, and he pursued me for 3 years.
Wow.
For 3 years, and I just was not giving him the time of day, and you know,
sounds like a narcissist.
Yeah, it's just like he was just like
Like a
sitting
narcissist.
back, like just sitting back, just waiting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I had my oldest son, and I had, you know, he didn't have any children. We were seeing each other, then led on to being engaged, led on being married, and it's just, you know, you think that you know somebody, and then they flip the script like you said or whatever like that, and then it's like, oh, I got this on her, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this or whatever, and then we was back and forth on court trying to, you know, he's trying to get my youngest son and stuff like that. He's doing stuff to have him go against me and
nurturing him.
Yeah, and then it's like, and I'm telling him, and I'm standing in front of the court, if I'm so crazy, why would you want to have a child by somebody that's crazy? And he just looking. You know, so my thing is, I came from a mighty long way from the trauma in my life, from that relationship, and then just the struggle of, you know, following God like I know I was supposed to be following Him, or just being out there back and forth with the struggle, because it's a fight. It's a fight to do right. You can easily do wrong, but to stay on the right track and do what you know is right.
It takes work. Yes,
it takes work, and you know, I just wanted to be like an example to show people that you can come out of this. You don't have to deal with this. And you know, it seems like sometimes you go through what you call it, discrimination, because it's like, when I kept going back and forth to court, it's like the judge talking like, you know how we was talking earlier,
looking at your records,
looking at all the other, and talking to you, like talking down to you, but not talking down to him, because they don't know really what's going on with him, but they see,
like you said, he created the trail. He created
the trail so he can set me up and just go for the kill or whatever. But he didn't know that I was a fighter. I'm a prayer warrior.
Go ahead.
He didn't understand that.
Go
and
ahead.
every time he tried to push me
and
down,
you got
I
prayer
rise back
warriors
up.
that's praying for you.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And every time he tried to suppress me down and come, I would rise back up.
Yes,
I said, because he don't know what type of woman that
you really
am. I really am. And now he sees that I'm fighting back and things is not going all the way his way. He think that he's getting away, but he's just getting by right now. He's not getting away.
You know he know who's your real protector is.
Yes, God.
And he's no challenge to him.
Right. No.
He's seeing through him and what he's doing. You know what I mean? To you.
Right.
You know? And what he's done.
What he's done.
What he's done.
And then you know how when we met each other at the working at the high school, he's tampering with my name, you know, whereas though right now I can't really be around like children because of this protection order he got against me with my son.
Wow.
And he got CYS involved 4 different times, and they didn't find anything. So it's like, okay, then I've been praying about it, and I've been asking God, okay, what's my next move? And God said, just be still.
Be still. Go ahead.
Just be still and know that I'm God. You know, let him dig that hole for himself.
That's right.
You know, and I'm like, well, it's the holidays. I want to have my son with me. He said, just let me deal with this.
That's right.
You know, you keep speaking the word to my people. You keep encouraging, uplifting people.
Go ahead.
I got you. I got you. Because kept saying, like before, I kept saying, Dad, should I get on this? You know, I've been going through something myself. I don't know if I should be, you know, speaking right now. And I was going to reschedule and all that. And God said, no, this is what I need you to do right now.
There you go.
The holiday is coming. People losing their family members. People depressed. You know, people going through divorce, separation, and stuff like that. They need to hear your story.
Go ahead. They
need to know that if you can survive this, Lynn from the BHP, Sister Coretta, however you call me, can survive. I know you can make it.
That's right.
I know you can make it. You can stand up for yourself and let them know, yeah, I might be suffering from mental illness, but I know I can speak for myself and I can do what I need to do for myself.
Well, right now, you're a stand-up woman. You hear what I'm saying? You are helping somebody else just by being here and just sharing your truth. You know, because truth going to set you free. You know what I'm saying? Truth is going to set you free. And I'm telling you, God is going to be right there. Yes. You know? And it's he's like you said, sit still. It's going to happen.
I never had no man really put their hands on me. I mean, we fist fighting and everything, over stuff that he pimping ministry.
Wow.
He telling women that he a minister and, I minister somebody 1 o'clock in the morning, or really?
Wow.
He ministers somebody 1 o'clock in the morning on the porch.
He see,
He see everything.
He see everything.
Everything.
He see everything. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're doing a good job too. You holding up, my sister. You getting in. You getting deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
speak whatever you choose to speak about.
It's just,
You know what I mean? Because guess what? The truth, I'm telling y'all, the truth will set you free. I'm telling you, you're going to feel so much better. You know what I mean? That you got people on here that can help you just like you helping them.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, right now. You never know who's watching this.
Right.
That judge could be watching.
Mm-hmm.
You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what people look at, like people can look at people and never know what people are really going through. You know what I mean?
Right.
Our faces can have the biggest smile, or we can look the dirtiest, nastiest person, like you saying, a homeless person, or a person who's on drugs and alcohol or whatever. You know, but you never know what's going on. There's a story behind it. Right. You know what I'm saying?
I sometimes talk to the homeless, because they wasn't always homeless.
They wasn't always homeless. That's right.
And this one guy that I seen.
That's right.
He walked up to me, this Caucasian guy. He didn't look homeless. That's how we can't assume when we look at somebody. And he was looking, and he was like, can you give me some money to get something to eat? And I just looked at him like, it don't look like nothing wrong with it.
It looked like he had
clean clothes and everything.
Some of us still look kind of good out there. You know what I mean? Something like I don't know what.
And we start talking, and I said, McDonald's is right there. I can take you to get something to eat. We can sit down. And so he started telling me that he wasn't always homeless. He was living with his girlfriend, they was living with the mom, the girlfriend mom. Mm-hmm. She didn't like what he was doing. Something happened. She told him to get out. Mm-hmm. And he was just living on the streets. And he said he goes to different places that he know of that he can get a shower and get dressed and shaved and stuff like that or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then he was telling me
you helped him.
Yeah, I helped him. It was like a lot of different people that I ran into when I left Chester, and just I helped. And I said I do want to be an advocate for people with mental illness, because some of them really don't know how to fight back.
Well, nowadays they have a lot of different programs, you know, and different specialists that you could see, like Anitra. Anitra, you know. That's where me and you saw each other at. And everybody in there was in this field. Everybody in there, you know. So, did you take information from people in there?
Yeah, well, I had information from her from before.
Good, because she has very good resources, you know, for situations like this. You know, my part of mental health is it was going through drug and alcohol addiction, mainly drugs. You know what I'm saying? And it had took me through a lot of things that I got trapped, you know, by the sickness, and just didn't know how to get out, so I performed in other ways.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and with the help of a specialist, helped me to get myself back, you know, on track to accept some of the things that I've done. Reason why had me speak, had me talk, you know, about the situations. I share them on here all the time. I have no problem with them today. You know what I mean? But I love having people who want to come on and talk about Gordine. Hey, Gordine. People that come on the show and want to talk about, you know, anything. You know what I mean? Anything. You just don't know. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us is going through a lot of mental health. You know, the way it affects you may not affect me. Right. You know, and it may affect the same with others and differently with others.
And another
you know what I mean? But to know that there's information and there's organizations, there are all kinds of different programs and stuff that you can call. You know what I mean? And you can go, like, you can get together. Just like, for me, just like this right here is just like having a meeting. You know what I mean? It works for me. You follow what I'm saying? I know it's working for other people and helping other people. When you said you went on, on your podcast, or your live, go back. Continue to do it. You will be surprised the people who will join. You will be surprised the same people who can't wait for you weekly to come on just so they can listen, just so they can hear.
I was doing it every day, and I was just like getting a lot of response.
Absolutely.
A lot of response. And
I pops on. You know what I mean? When I see you on, I pops on.
And I just said, it was like, what I was going to say to you before I had lost my thing. Like it's like a struggle. Like, you know how like when you have a calling to do something, we were talking about that before. And it's like, what you're calling, you kind of know what your calling is and where God wants you to go, but then you're still struggling. You're trying to get yourself together. And that's where I was at in a place of my life where I was struggling, because I'm trying to do God's will, but then I was trying to stay married at the same time. But that's not what God will was for me to stay with Him.
Go ahead.
Now I'm with more flourished. I'm more like, I'm not walking on eggshells in my own house. Like, if I say something wrong, or if I act a certain way,
and that's a blessing, coming in your own home and having peace.
Yeah, am I going to get, I'm going to get 302 and it was times when He said, if you do this,
that had to be spooky.
If you do this, I'm going to go 302. And then, and I did certain things sometimes that I didn't understand at the time. And then I'm like, I see I'm doing it now. On Facebook, it was, this was before I was married, and I was trying to find myself in the Lord or whatever. And it was just things that God would lay on my heart to do, but it didn't seem
like that's what you were doing.
It seemed like it seemed crazy to other people, but to me, it seemed like that's what God wanted me to do.
It was saying.
Right, so then it was like, for instance, like if you seen on Facebook, when people used to, around Christmas time, they would have like little games, or they would just, I want to bless you, because, it's Christmas, or, whatever like that. But me and my girlfriend, she passed away, Vanessa, and there was one of my sisters from church. We used to do that kind of stuff before it was even thought of. When you walk up, they say if you was at the gas station and I see you, you'd be like, oh, you don't gotta worry about paying out this pay for your gas.
Right.
I was doing that stuff before it was even in play. Like just being a giver. Because that's what God had laid on my heart to do, to be a giver, but people didn't understand it. Like, why is Lynn going around, doing this and doing that, and why is she giving gift cards to people and doing this and doing that? So
doing that to people, that made you look crazy.
Right, because it was like I was in like I guess I was in transition of following God, but then the mental part was trying to kick in too at the same time.
Yeah, that voice will speak to you. Anytime you try to go to the right, it's always going to try to direct you.
So then it was more so like, nobody ain't doing that. How she just going to give brand new shoes to somebody? But now you see it more and more on Facebook.
Yeah, people feeding people doing all kinds of stuff.
And then my grandpa said, he passed away. He was 96. He was always one of my biggest cheerleaders. And he said, you're before your time. He would tell me. He said, you're older, but he said, you're young, but you're older, if you get what I'm saying.
He's like, you've been here before.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah, he said,
you've been here before.
And he would say, you're just like me. And he's like, but you're a woman. Don't you ever stop being who God wants you to be.
Go ahead.
And then he would say, because God, I knew you was going to be special when you got baptized. I knew that God had some great things for you. I always seen it from when you was little. And he would say, just keep on going with the things of God. Keep on going with the things of God. But my thing is, when I was going through, when I was married and stuff, and I was like, well, I knew I was ready to get married. I'm going through all this stuff. Like, what is it? Like, why am I getting? I felt like I was getting persecuted for being married.
Was you getting help, like from?
I was going to a therapist. I was going to the like my grandfather. He'd been married for 70-something years. Talking to him, talking to people that was married that might have felt my struggle or whatever.
Right.
And I was getting help.
But
he wasn't getting help. He was talking to his mom. She's not married. He's talking to his friends. He's not married. They give you all the other advice that they want to give you. Oh, you need to just get away. You need to just do this and do that. He wasn't willing to stick in there and change his ways.
Right.
He wanted to be who he wanted to be.
Right. He was in control.
Right.
He had the control.
Right. Then he had everybody believing mostly what he said, because I'm married to her. I know what's going on.
He was in control.
Right. So
for him, as just an individual himself, he knew what was right for you. You know, you know what I'm saying? When he has his own life, that has to be right. You know what I'm saying? And the devil works. When he works, he works.
Yes.
And he works through people, places, and things. You know, you just don't know who's who and what's what when it comes to who. You know what I'm saying? But when I found my higher power in my life, he taught me how to work on me.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
As he's doing for you.
Because I lost myself in my marriage. It was just like, oh, just, you know, the ministry and just him and baby and, you know, my oldest son, we was like drifted apart and stuff like that. And I think he has like a hatred towards my oldest son. You know, how can you have a hatred towards something that's mine? You know, and they went through their little stuff and everything, but we got back closer, me and my oldest son.
Great.
It was always just me and him most of the time before he even really came into the picture. You know, because I had my youngest son, I was like in my 40s when I had him.
Right.
You know, my oldest son was almost grown.
Right.
You know, but I didn't have to do that. You know, he didn't have no kids. I said, you know, I wanted to start a family with him.
Another family.
Stuff like that, yeah. So
add to your family, which is you and your son. I mean, if there's anybody that's on here that's dealing with the same thing, you know, I'm going to thank her again for coming on and just sharing her story. You know, she has more to say, but I just want to just cut in there. You know, anybody can come sit on the couch or be videoed from the couch, you know, and talk and discuss, because talking about situations like this helps. You know, it helps. You know, and the hunger in you that wants to help so bad. You know what I mean? And now that you found a higher power, which, you know, I call it a higher power, you know, God in your life, you know, is strengthening you. You know what I mean? Because you're listening to what he says. You know, do, and you put him first before all. Because I had to do the same thing in my addiction. You know what I'm saying? And today, I'm just so grateful that God is there, you know, and I put him first. You know, he's allowed me to start understanding Tracy. You know what I mean? When Tracy thought she had it all going on, you know, that all my ways and all the things that I done was right. You know how that goes. You know, Rum, you've been through, you know, some time with me. You know what I mean? In them days. You follow what I'm saying? Even admiring it. You know what I'm saying? Nah. The girl to be admired today is me. You know, this Tracy. You follow what I'm saying? That Trey. Y'all know I call her Trey. You know, that Trey done some terrible things and made terrible decisions, looking good and acting as if nothing was going on. You know what I mean? I've always had this thing. I mean, you know, I've been married 4 times. Y'all, you know what I'm saying?
No.
I always had, oh hell yeah. I always had it where ain't no man gonna have me his girlfriend for all these years. You know, that's not my goal. You know what I mean? If it's your goal, go ahead. But it's not my goal. You know what I mean? I wanted to live by, you know, the Bible and by the truth of what marriage is supposed to be. But I had to fix me. You know what I mean? To get there. You follow what I'm saying? But when I felt like a man was trying to be my leader, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I got one leader. God's my leader. You follow what I'm saying? I can say that strongly today. You know what I mean? But you want to be my partner. You hear what I'm saying? My partner. You know what I mean? You know, we can do that. You follow what I'm saying? And God is going to lead us both, you know, to where our relationship and our marriage is going to be. You know what I mean? But I can smell a rat. I'm going to tell you straight up. I can smell a rat. You know what I mean? And they can smell my strength. You follow what I'm saying? Because I got good senses today when it comes to, you know, choosing and picking men and seeing how they change. Now, relationship, we make a lot of changes. A relationship, we get to know a whole lot about each other. And I'm no doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, but I'm just talking about me. You know what I mean? For what you were saying. You know what I mean? I have never yet let a man control me. You know what I mean? It's only one that controls me, and that's God. You know, and I'm working hard on, you know what I mean, letting him be my number one.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? Well, it's not hard anymore. It's very easy to me now because I trust and believe, you know, and I know that's how it should be.
Right.
But any physical man, you know what I mean, that has the heart of a demon, because that's how I look at it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And plays the mask with God, you know, he got to face God.
Yes.
He's going to have to face
Yes.
him. You know what I mean? You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand that. I really can't. I despise it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I despise men being disrespectful to women as well as women to being disrespectful to men.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we both could be, you know, where we at. But when you have a person that you know and you shared all your story with them, all your life with them, and they eating this up just to become your worst nightmare and to make you think that they love you, you know what I mean? And then make you sicker than what they think you really are, you know, and make people think that you're sicker the way they want them to see you.
Right.
And I know you may have acted out in so many ways because love hurt. Love becomes pain. You follow what I'm saying? And going through the system, oh my gosh, that had to be awful.
But
that
you
had
know
to be terrible.
But you know, when I was going through getting like back and forth in the hospital, that brought me so closer to God because
absolutely.
when I was,
but they think you crazy.
Yeah.
They still think you crazy. They don't think you working on nothing.
Yeah.
That sounds like a narcissist to me.
Yeah. And then
I can't help but say.
And then it was like, it was one time when I was in crisis, and it was a young lady, and she was trying to speak up for herself, but then I would start speaking up for her. They told me if I don't be quiet, you put me in the quiet room. And so I said, I still kept talking, so they put me in there, and that was just like, you know how they say when you meditate, and there's nothing in there but the walls, and there's nothing, no phone, no friends, no nothing.
You got
and
a lot of experience, man. You got a lot of information.
And I just sit up there, and I just called on God, and just sat there and just prayed and called on God.
Go ahead.
And then it was just like, every time when somebody would see me, they say, "What you need?" I need the Bible.
Go ahead.
And what else did you need? And it was just, it was so many times. It was like a pattern. Like every year I was in the hospital. Like every year. But then I kept saying, "Lord, why?" And he's like, "Why not you?"
And in the system, let me tell you all, in the system, me working in the system so many years, people don't care. People just look at you like, "Oh, girl, you know Lynn, she crazy."
But then they start saying it's something about you.
It's something.
It's
A
something
person
about
that
you.
has care, sympathy, empathy, love in their heart can start seeing the truth of you,
The real truth.
the real truth of you. You know what I mean? But a lot of people just roll with the flow. It's like, "Oh, she's back. She back again. Here she is again."
And I used to say,
You know what I mean?
when they close her, I speak, "I'm back with my room at," and they be laughing and stuff. But then they say, "You know what? It's something about you. You don't belong here." And it's like, then they say, "You talk about God and this and that or whatever," and they say, "Oh, he really doing something in your life," but I couldn't understand what it was, but it was bringing me closer to him. Every time I would go, it brought me closer to God.
And people think what they call quote unquote crazy people or people with mental health can't think about God. They don't think that that's normal, that you're able to do that. You know what I'm saying? But you are.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You
Yes.
are. You
It
know?
was one of the best times is being with me and him. And then, you know, sometimes they let you just go on, you know, you want to go in the room or you want to go here and there. And I would just read my word. I would just pray, you know, encourage somebody else. I remember I was leaving out one time and I was walking, I was in Chester and I seen this one guy. He's like, "You remember me?" And I was like, "No, not really." And then he was like, he was like, "I know I'm Muslim and all that." He said, "But you brought me back to my faith." He said, "The way you was in there talking about God, you had us in there praying with you and everything."
Go
And
ahead.
I was just like, you know, it was just like, when you ask for something from God, you don't know how he's going to
Go
do
bring
it.
it.
When
That's
you
right.
say you want to be closer to him, okay, well, I'm going to bring you closer, but you got to be right here, right now. And I remember I was just so agitated one time when my ex-husband had my son for 2 months without me seeing him or anything. And and I was, where I was living and stuff, and he, they would try to say I was trespassing on his property or whatever, but really I wasn't. The door was open. I walked in there, looked in the ground. I'm like, because I was thinking about moving actually at that time, and then the cops, they had bad days too. I had a bad day.
Every day ain't no great day.
Listen, I said I see my son in 2 months, and I'm aggravated, and I'm thinking about moving, and this stuff going through my mind, and he told me I'm trespassing. I'm arguing back with him. Anyway, make a long story short, I got locked up. I got locked up because you say I'm resisting arrest, and you put your hands on me. And the Lynn came out in me. It wasn't Sister Coretta. It was B.H. Friedland.
Who was it?
The B.H. Friedland came out, and he sit up there and grabbed me, threw me to the ground. First of all, where was the woman cop at, number one? Everybody kept saying, you could have sued them or whatever. But anyway, and I just grabbed him so hard by his nuts. And almost yanked him Jones off.
Are you serious?
And then he just,
Snap.
He snapped. Then Spark came, they slammed against the car. My sister didn't know where I was at. They didn't let me make a phone call or none of that. I ended up being in jail for 2 months.
Are you
Out the
serious?
county. And they had like the chapel people to come in, they pray with you, they give you tracts and stuff. So then she didn't come for a while, so they was like, they asked what do we want, and I said I want a Bible. I just stay in my cell and just read my Bible. And they come in, they talk and stuff. So then the one girl said, well, you looking for the chapel person? Coretta, you that chapel person? I'm like, I am. He said, yeah, why don't you just ask them, can we meet in in the lounge or whatever like that and just have Bible study?
Right.
So I always told God I wanted a prison ministry, but I didn't say I wanted to be
In
there
prison with the
do it.
ministry,
But he was
right?
like, you didn't say all this.
Well, maybe you need to be in there to see
I
what
was
it
in there.
was about.
Yeah, and I was in there. I was watching different ones on the phone, calling their family members and different women and stuff. And then they let us have it because I asked them. They said they let us have it, and the Caucasian sisters was coming. Our people. You think you all because you doing Bible study and I'm Muslim and all that stuff. Well, God love Muslims, you can still come And it was just an awesome experience. It was awesome.
Michelle said, it's the process. She said, every downfall strengthens us more to become wiser and stronger. And we get back up again and we fight harder. That's right, Shelley. With better strategies and with the wisdom of the Lord. Put God in everything and you will not be defeated. Absolutely, that's a fact. That is definitely a fact. You know what I mean? And in the same way, Shelley, as how I feel of, my higher power, that's exactly what I do. You know what I mean? It's exactly how I do it. My life has changed so remarkably. You know what I mean? To the fact of I've done almost everything you could possibly do. You know what I mean? Young, coming up. You know what I mean? But as I get older, like you're saying, Shelley, it's becoming more peaceful.
Right.
Things. I'm in my peace right now. And I live for this peace. You follow? And I don't think like I used to think with the help of people. You follow what I'm saying? With my psychologist. Because I still see a psychologist. You know what I mean? I can call and talk to her anytime. You know what I mean? And I have to do that sometimes.
Right, people say something's wrong.
Like something wrong with you.
It
is something wrong with me. I need to speak to my psychologist. Because when there's a problem, that's what you do.
Somebody that's outside of your family, friends, and all that. Somebody that you can talk to that they only know what you tell them, and then they get off of what you say.
But people always look on the outside end. They always think they know. You know what I mean? They always think they know. Instead of them looking at a good to help you, they're going to look at a good to keep you down. You know what I mean? And make other people feel the same way that they feel. That's a lot. That's just people. Yeah, I consider that people lifing. You know what I mean? With that little phrase, you know, life be lifing. You know what I'm saying? That can be used for a good term or a bad term to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and I've never looked at you that way. I've never really even seen a lot of this in you. You know, as long as I've been knowing of you. You know what I mean? But I've never seen you react. I never even seen you come through the system. You follow what I'm saying? Even when I was working in psych. You know, I worked in there for at
I had
the
some of my
hospital.
classmates when I was in Chester come through, and they didn't treat me like nothing different. They just was like loving on me.
That's how I would have been. I've been, you know, you would have been like, you know, the same Lynn to me. You know, you always looked up to me though. You know what I mean? You know, admired my little crazy behind. You know what I'm saying? When I was in that crazy world, you follow. But I can tell you today that I'm not mad at what I went through. You know what I mean? I'm actually, I can give it a pat on the back for helping me to get to know who I am today. You know what I mean? I don't let anything of what people say, you know, or how they look at you affect you, because you got the right person. You know, you got the right one that's going to protect you. You follow, and lead you. You know, and I can sit here and feel how much you love them. You know, you love God. You know what I mean? And like Shelly was saying, you're only going to get stronger. You only get stronger. And giving this back to people is helping people to do just what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And this is going to make you stronger. This is going to make you stronger. So they no longer have to look at you at what they used to look at. You know what I mean? Or what they think they was looking at anyway. They can see who you are today.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you stand tall with it, sis. You stand tall and you keep doing what you're doing, because guess what? It's working.
Yeah.
You follow?
I guess.
That's right. It's working. You know, and I look at all those things that I did out there, you know, when I was out there, you know what I mean? People will never forget them.
Yeah,
anybody who knows will never forget them.
You was right.
Girl, they always remember what you was doing or what she was doing, or you know she used to do this and she know that you used to do that, when they can't even deal with their own situations.
Exactly.
You understand? So people get off on talking about you or talking about others to keep the reflection off themselves, because they're suppressing stuff themselves. You know what I mean? And dealing with situations themselves. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she always be crazy. She'll never come around. Who are you? You're definitely not God. You follow? So we say never never. You understand? Because the most people that you look at that you think won't, will. You follow what I'm saying? And then come through. You hear what I'm saying? Come through strong. You know what I mean? With their God that is more powerful than any man, woman, what you say, how you say it, what you do, and how you look at you. You follow what I'm saying?
God, you can't go wrong, because
Absolutely
now I'm
not.
going through this situation right now, and I'm like, Lord, what should I do next with my ex, still with my youngest son? And he said, be still.
Be still.
Just be still and
Be
let
still.
me do what I got to do. And I'm like, well, I should be doing something. And then they said,
No, your way wasn't working.
Yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
when I start doing my own strength, I'm tired.
Yeah, when
Then
you
I'm
start
not
thinking,
gonna lie,
when you
because
start
I'm
thinking
stressing.
off of God terms, you know what I'm saying, and you allow that voice to come back. You know, Lynn from the BHO. Is that what you called it?
BHP.
BHP, from the BHP. You know, she come back talking. That's what I talk about with Trey Trey. Trey Trey always trying to slip in something. You know what I mean? But I know Trey Trey way wasn't the right way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I can't take advice from her. And neither, you know, my suggestion to you, don't take advice from that. If God says sit, sit.
Yeah.
And let him do what he does. You follow what I'm saying? I learned to be patient with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And calm with that on top of it. You know,
we're so
and
used to doing
somehow,
things in our own strength.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be doing something. Like, why? I'm just, they're getting over. He's getting over. He's not, you know, he's getting away with this. He's getting away with that. But it's like, somebody told me that was going through some legal things. It's a process.
ask the people who's on here if they dealing with that. You know, y'all can get what you call it, a group. You know what I mean? On the live. This thing has done some awesome things for people. Even myself, having everybody come on here on Wednesdays keeps me on top of me. Keeps me sober. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't want to go out there and use, but it's support. You know? And it keeps me standing, letting me know that people care. Some people just watch this just to be watching it. You know what I mean? Some people watch it because they need to know the information that we offer. You know what I mean? Some people watch it because they need it. You follow what I'm saying? So it's for whatever reason people watch it, but what I get from it. You understand what I mean? Being selfish, because I have to be.
Right.
As well as yourself. Being selfish, you know what I mean? I get blessings from this. I get support from this. You know what I mean? And they are here every week. Get on here. It's easy. Pop up. You don't know how many people that wants to talk about these things, that needs to talk about these things. I am honored and grateful that you came on this show. You know, which I can still call it a show, y'all. I swear. On this live. You know, hey Rabia. You know, and for some of the people who messengers me and I have a one-on-one with, I don't know. I don't have to know them. I just know God sent them. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said,
I just know He connected us.
Get back on my live. I was getting on there 5:30 in the morning, giving them a word of encouragement, because sometimes you need to feel that before you get off to work.
Absolutely.
You know, even though you might pray to yourself or whatever, you see somebody on there. Oh, I know they're gonna be on here 5:30 in the morning. They're gonna give me an encouraging word, and then I can start my day.
Yeah. Every time I get up in the morning to, I'm gonna say when I get up to go to work, you know, or I'm up early, it's somebody on there with a live that I relate to. You know, even Stace is on there early in the morning. You know what I mean? And I always catch her. You know, who's that? Kia. Hey, my girl. It might be, girl. There's more people on here tonight because they know you're on here. You know, I ain't mad. I ain't mad. You know, they want to hear what you got to say.
It's like I come from two fighters,
and
on my mom's side and my dad's side.
And support.
Fighters. But God showed me you don't have to throw your left fist no more. You can
starts with who?
It starts with me.
And go in with who?
Yep.
You are responsible for you.
I know
you're responsible
on
for
both
you.
sides of the family. I don't have to fight no more.
Fight my middle name. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I don't think about these things. You know, to even put myself in that environment anymore. That's a part of my people, places, and things. You know what I mean? So the same thing relates to you. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in so much of the Bible. You know, religions, different religions. You know what I mean? But my walk of choice is 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. You know, that's what works for me. That's what put me together. That's what put this broken puzzle back in the right places. You know what I mean? For the right pieces. Right. You know, and learning them. And I'm still doing that to this day. You know what I mean? But it still leads to my higher power, and my choose to call God. You know what I'm saying? And it's based off of religion. You know what I mean? But it gives me a sense of peace and a sense of understanding of the same as what you're receiving. You know what I mean? It's just in the way of my choice. You follow what I'm saying?
Like I have, like, with my mom, Lord rest her soul, she was a wonderful provider. She was a fighter. And I know she would, if she was here, she was like, we going to fight or whatever. But the thing about it, she taught me.
Always the right way.
Yeah, she taught me that. But then I had my grandfather that was spiritual thing. The spiritual, what you call it, person in my life that showed me about God, taught me about the Word of God. Then I also, when I was in my early 20s, I was going to New Life Ministries with Pastor Joyce. She passed away. And she was a very excellent teacher of the Word of God and a woman of faith. I mean, she traveled the world, and it's one thing that I know about that she taught me is to call things that be not as though they were. Faith without works is dead. So you call things that be not as though they were. You want what you say you have. Life and death is in the power of your tongue. And I just kept, I would always remember that kind of stuff.
But you know what? That was God anyway.
Yeah.
That was Him without you recognizing. You know, they told me, like coming through, my addiction, and my triumphs and, different situations in my life, and I realize now, I can say, wow, He was always there. I just had my back turned and didn't recognize it. You know what I'm saying? And all the time, when I'm small, going through all these traumas and doing, growing up, going through traumas and becoming grown and going through traumas and everything, and still not quite have that true belief, that he loves me. You know what I'm saying? And all the time, I'm like, he don't do nothing for me. Well, he was always.
Always.
I could say that to this day, it was me. You know what I mean? Because I had no understanding of trust in him. But trust in him, oh girl, believe me, if he say sit.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, he's coming.
Yeah.
And the situation is going to be dealt with.
And you know how sometimes people try to think, well, should I be doing this or should I be doing that? But that small, still voice will let you know, like, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And just, sometimes he'll say yes, no, and wait. But sometimes you don't hear nothing. Just don't do nothing. Just wait.
That's right. Pray. Keep praying. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep helping people. Keep serving. You serve with SGS Ministries, right? You're in good hands. You know what I mean? Keep yourself around positive people, places, and things. It's going to help. See how my thing is coming off to suggestions to you?
Yes.
It all matters. In the same. Those are your people, places, and things. They ain't used to be, but they are now. They support you. They love you. You're always committed with them. You know what I mean? Here's Michelle, committed to you. You know what I mean? A friend, a standard, a child of God. You know what I mean? Let me get some people on here that's sending you some shout outs here. I'm gonna go up as far as I can. Okay.
Aretha, she an SGS.
Okay, Aretha. Aretha said, "Yes, be still and let God fight for you." If you want to say something to Aretha, and Michelle said, "That's right." Sharia, who's this? Ahmed Coleman is watching. Okay. Michelle said, "God timing has a way of blowing up shop, sis. The grand final is in the hands of the nose, your fate." Absolutely, 100. Gordine sends you heart and prayers. Hey Pam, Michelle, as we were talking, she's speaking back, saying indeed. Michelle says she's proud of you.
That's Pat right there.
Pat Jules, she said God is definitely in the. You want to read it?
She said God is definitely in the midst. Yes, be still and watch God. This is your story and testimony to me.
Absolutely. This is a testimony. Absolutely, it's a testimony. And that's what we do. You know what I mean? And we share our testimonies. You know what I mean? That helps people.
And then we did that like in crisis too, being group.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that in group in crisis you should have had groups.
Yeah, they had groups.
You know what I mean?
They had music ministry. I don't know. Music group ministry. Music group. I don't know if they still do that, but they used to let you listen to your music and just relax and stuff like that. I don't know if they still do that.
Music it can become relaxing for you mentally. You know what I mean? Same as coloring.
Yeah, we used to
and dealing in our mental health session, we deal with a lot of coloring. You know what I mean? That can kind of like get your mind to relax a little bit. You know what I mean? And keep you a little bit on a focus.
Yeah.
It makes you calm.
Yeah.
For me, it was journaling. I write all the time. I used to write. You know what I mean?
haven't did that in a while, but I want to start back doing
Go back to it. Don't say you will, just start it. You know what I mean? Because that ain't nothing but...
I got 2 for my birthday, so I know that's something God's saying.
I'm going to give you a journal before you leave here. You're going to leave the couch with a journal in your hands. You hear what I mean? And a pen. You feel what I'm saying? She getting that journal and the pen, y'all, before you leave this couch. You follow what I'm saying? Because that is one of your best friends. You already been doing it, though. You follow from all of what you were sharing. You got to go back to doing it. Just continue to follow the yellow brick road. That's what I do in recovery today. You know what I mean? I do as it say and say as it do. And it keeps me leveled. I can't change the way that they say do this. You know what I mean? When I start changing things, that means, you know what I mean? Trey woke up, tell me, no, don't do that. What's working for me? Do this. which she's a destroyer. That voice is a destroyer. You know what I mean? It's not coming in good, in nothing good. You know what I mean? It's coming to take you back, you know, and to keep you down. And do what the people were saying, or your husband was saying, you are crazy. You ain't crazy. You know what I mean? You wake up and every morning just like us, and God is blessing you.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? You just got your mind on the right one. And it's bringing you back. I ain't gonna say you ain't did some crazy shit, because you did. Some crazy stuff. We always did that. But you hold yourself accountable for what you've done. That's what I've been hearing you say throughout this whole conversation. You know what I mean? And you surrendered. You know? Now you believe. Now you are.
Yep.
You follow? You know, like I said, I'm no doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, but I do got a little something with me, because I believe in them too. You know what I mean? And I had to go through Tom, Dick, and Harry and every daggone thing that I had to do to get to him. You know what I mean? To meet him where he was meant to be met. You know what I'm saying? So it's not easy sometimes, but it becomes a little bit more easier.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? So I know that because of, I can see my change today, that it's working.
Right.
And that's the patience. That's where he says, sit down. And that's what I had to do myself. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody else on here can agree to that, or you could share it in a different way. You know what I mean? But, you know, God is blessing you. That's for sure. I know that for a fact. You follow?
No, I just thank God each and every day.
Yeah.
And you ain't gonna have a what they say, you have your ups and downs, but you let your the better days outweigh the days that you.
Gordine said it can be 30 years later and they still talking about it like it just happened. That's what they do. That's what they do. That's how. This is Mike T. He's one of my guys. Mike said, "Lynn, keep your head up. It only gets better with time."
Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
Go ahead, Mike. Okay, Mike. Okay. He said. Michelle said, "Sis, you keep doing you as our Heavenly Father see fit. Stay focused. Be steadfast." And stay humble. You'll see. You'll have soul, and that's you'll. What do you say? You'll save souls and God intent. Absolutely, Shelly. Absolutely. Look at Shelly. Shelly out there. I mean, just flipped. You know what I mean? And she just pour love into other people.
Yeah, when they
You know
see
what
her,
I
they
mean?
be so happy to see her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because it's authentic. It's
Right.
real. It's
And she's not
authentic.
looking at
It's
them
no
with their God
phoniness
on
in
and all that
exactly. She look at them for who they are, God's children. And I feel you on that, Shelly. You know, that's why I share on here a lot. You know, you just can't walk past.
Oh, my girl, Yolanda Hawkins.
You got Yolanda Hawkins.
Mental
Here she
health.
is. Read what she said.
Mental health is definitely silent among so many people, and it's been encouraging to hear you are not alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, again, it's many people on here. You can go on this live thing and this Facebook thing, you know what I mean, and find many people who already have groups on mental health. I find recovering groups all the time. All the time, and I just pop on some of them that'll let me in. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm scared to join certain ones that pop on here because you don't know what's real and what's not real.
Right.
One time I popped on here to try to join one of the groups. Girl, it was people all sex groups, like sex and all that kind of stuff. You know, I deleted that real quick. You know what I mean? But they advertise it as recovery. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes things could be a little tricky, but, you know, I had to stop adding myself on all these things because I'm thinking they for good, and some of them is as crazy as I don't know what. You know what I mean? So you just got to be careful on here too. There's Helen Green.
Hello to you also, Helen Green.
She hear you, Helen. No, they can hear you just like me. They can hear you.
Ricky Robinson.
Hey, Steph. How you doing? You know what this means. Steph, come on. I want you on this couch. Come on. And hey, Ricky, how you doing? You know, But look, this is for any and everybody. I'm glad that you all showed up tonight, because this is what she needed as well. You know what I mean? She fought with this, whether or not she wanted to come on here and do this. Hey, Ryan, what's happening, bro? That she wanted to do this. And part of you was saying, no, not yet, I'm not going to do it. But then that other part said, I'm going to do it. Just do it.
And that was God, because the devil ain't going to see you up here and tell you.
So we didn't even know how we was going to get together and get here and everything. We was like, oh, well, we can do it on the video. You don't have to be here. My girl says she want to sit on the couch. Steph. And guess what? God arranged it so she can get here and got her ride back. You know what I'm saying? But special sit on this couch. You follow what I'm saying? Special sit on this couch. And I love it because it's giving me so much a good memory and it's a good vibe and feeling in this room. When I come in here, my husband might not even see that. You know what I'm saying? But it's for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's for me and it's for God. You follow?
Yeah.
And I love it when I can get somebody to come sit with me and we bust it up and we just share what we feel we need to share. Everybody can't do this. Everybody won't do this.
Right.
But for the ones of us that will, God bless. God bless. Because I know it's helping many of people out here. Absolutely. It's helping many of people. And look at Stephanie. You got nerves. You're sitting with me. You're sitting with your girl. That's all you do. Believe me, you will join in. Ask Michelle. Believe me, you will join in. Y'all, I do a thing, I'm starting to do a thing every year now. It's going to be the LNMT Awards. For the ones of you that didn't make it last year, if you know somebody that went, ask them how it was. We had a beautiful time, and I rewarded every single soul that sat down on this couch and shared their strengths and hope with other people. You know what I mean? And the reward is from the heart, and they touched the hearts that was given the awards, and that's God's blessing. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again this year. This is why if anybody can send me stars, I will appreciate that. If you could just send stars. If not, my Cash App is up. If you want to donate anything, even the star money is 20 cents, 50 cents, $1, $5, with whatever. I want to continue it and I want to keep on with it. And if God says it's going to work, it's going to work.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not pressing, nobody for it, because with something of this nature, you just will want to do it. You know what I mean? So, of course, I'm going to mention it every episode. You know what I mean? Because I know it got to be somebody new on here again. You know what I mean? And I'm going to have to do that. And I also build up Living in My Truth boutique. That is also for raising the money to do the LNMT Awards. Hey, y'all, it was awesome. It was nice. You know what I mean? And every soul in there, we had a great time. Every person that was there, we had a great time. You follow? And now I got my sister here who's going to be rewarded. I didn't make the date yet, but it will be in June. That will be on there. You're going to give me the opportunity of feeling, what being rewarded for your strength and hope, for you helping somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful feeling.
I want them to know too that I'll be back on live tomorrow morning at 5:30 for encouraging words.
There you go.
Look under Coretta Kinder on Facebook.
There you go. There you go.
I have to keep going on what God want me to do, not on what I feel or this ain't going right, it ain't going right. I just gotta keep on staying focused.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Y'all hear that? She will be on live tomorrow morning at what time?
5:30.
5:30. I don't know what you're talking all soft for. They can hear you. They watching us. They watching us. So I'm gonna put my my Cash App back through here because there's so many comments on here. And I know mine's is all the way at the top. you can always just look down on the bottom of the screen to send a star, you know, and thank you for the ones that have sent stars. I appreciate it very much. There's my Cash App. Okay. Again, guys, anybody who wants to share, you know, any type of situation or have conversation on Tracy Allen Living in My Truth. Hey, Cola. On Tracy Allen Living in My Truth, you are so welcome. You know what I mean? This is not a cliquish thing. This is not a thing of, you know, I've heard so many different things of, you know, trying to be this and trying to be that. This is who I am. You know what I mean? And my heart goes out to anyone who's still suffering from drug and alcohol addiction, mental health, and psychiatric, you know, problems. It could be gambling. It could be smoking. It could, like I said, it could be shopping. It don't always have to be a pull out the violin type thing. We like to have fun. We like to talk. We like to chat. You follow what I'm saying? You are welcome to the couch. You know, come on and let's talk about some things. Let's do some grown up talking. You know, some talking that's going to make change in somebody's life. You know, some people I see, they walk up to me and say, "Oh wow, I don't say much, but keep doing what you're doing." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's appreciated too. Maybe one day they'll say, "Look, I'm gonna go on here and I'm gonna, you know, bring some more information and education. I don't have it all. I just got what I got, and I give what God give me to give. In every time that I come on here, you know what I'm saying, and do some sharing." You know, and I love having people and guests come on. Yeah. You know what I mean? That nervous at the beginning. She ain't nervous now. You know what I'm saying? She's sitting here fine. You know, let me tell y'all. I said, "Would you like some iced tea?" Well, let me tell you something. That's glass number 2 right there. I turned around and looked and it was gone. Well, you know, y'all know I put my thing down on the iced tea. You know what I'm saying? You know? But I love it because she's smiling. I love it because she, you know, you just feel joy. You look like you feel like relief. You know, I told you would.
I was just thinking, like, what if I didn't do it? Like, yeah. You know, you just gotta really just.
Man, that truth, that truth set you free. You hear what I'm saying? That thing set you free. But the most important thing, the change, working the change, comes from you.
Another thing I want to do, like later on down the line, I was picked it up, but I'll put it down. But I want to get a group together with people that have been through divorce, and because they don't have, a lot of times people don't have groups or support for people that's been divorced. You know, they always got somebody single or married, but sometimes you feel divorced. You feel like, what did I do next? Do I get remarried? Do I stay single? What should I do? So we need to get a support system. So
absolutely,
working on that.
Absolutely. Keep me in touch. Keep me informed with it. You know, because it don't stop here. You just don't come sit on the couch. That means we got something going on now. Even bigger and stronger than it used to be. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be there for you as much as I possibly can, and I hope likewise for me.
Yes.
You know, with you. You know, just seeing you is gonna build me up with more strength. You know what I mean? And knowing that I got somebody who cares and love me. Yes. You know what I mean? And feel it at the same time. Yes. You know, some people I've had on here, I don't even know them. Some of them, you know, or spoke with some, you know, that we just become really close, you know, and really tight. You know what I'm saying? Which that's what he says do. You know what I mean? And that's how it works. You know, and it's just it's a great feeling and it's a blessing. You know, so guys, I'm gonna be doing some pop-ups with the boutique, and it's jerseys, it's sweatshirts, it's things that will let me know that you're a part of support, you know, and standing out, you know, for living in my truth, you know, that it can help people. You know what I'm saying? I don't have these things as I want you to wear my stuff, you know. I want you to help me spread the word. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? And support living in my truth, you know, just as much as you guys do it by coming on here. You know, again, you can always send me stars, and my Cash App is $for you by Tracy. You know, if you want to send donation or you know what I mean, or you don't, want to put your card through this thing. I understand that. Putting your cards in, especially any time now. You know what I'm saying? Because you just don't know what's what. I do understand that. But, and if you're already sending stars, you can send stars to almost anybody. If you all already sending stars. So, I know it's getting closer to that time. Let me see. Are we right on the money? We're right on the money. Is there anything else you want to talk about or you want to say?
No, I just want to say I just thank God that I made the choice to come here, and sit down on the couch with my friend Tracy.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead,
and I just hope that this encourages somebody today to let if they're going through any kind of mental illness or any kind of struggle or addiction, that they don't have to be ashamed, get help and get a support system. I have an awesome support system. And I just thank God for being on here tonight. And I thank for everybody that commented and that from the BHP, from Chester. It was just awesome to be here today. And I just thank God that I was able to make the choice to come. So I wasn't going to come. So, and I'm going to be back on live tomorrow morning at 5:30. Give you something inspirational from the Word of God that can help you start your day. This is going to help me start mine. We encourage each other. As I encourage you, you encourage me. As I encourage me, I encourage you. So, wait for Tracy to come back.
Here, let me come up this slide. I'm calling you right back. I am so sorry, y'all. That was an emergency. But I tell you, the devil is always working. Always working. If I got a call 4 times in a row, something's wrong. So I had to answer that, and I apologize for leaving up. But you held me down, right?
Mm-hmm.
You sure you held me down? My girl, she held me down. I can deal with that shortly after we come off. But I appreciate you so much for coming on here, girl. I really do. I really, really do. You're welcome.
This is the second time you asked me, and I said, I ain't gonna let it be the third time.
Y'all know everybody when I see y'all, that'll be a good story. You have a good time on living in my truth. This is not the only time. You're welcome to come back anytime. We can never tell a story in an hour. You know what I mean? It's always something. And when you get the taste of feeling free from this type of situation that you're dealing with, even if it's a little bit, just know releasing is going to make that become a whole lot of freeing up. You know what I'm saying? And being able to walk around in your truth.
Right.
In spite of what anybody else think, y'all, everybody should know that. You know what I mean? Your truth is your truth. Your truth is your light. You know what I mean? And that's the light. You know what I mean? So people, like you said, Gordina, if you still on here, people going to always hold on to your stuff. You follow what I'm saying? Versus releasing theirs. You know what I'm saying? So God bless everybody. Bless all of you. I'm so grateful that this live is really working for us. You know what I mean? And being able to come together, and share love, strength, hope, and offer it and give it to people. Next Wednesday, y'all, we'll be back again. I have another guest for you next Wednesday. Like I said, I'm going to probably pop up times before that, you know what I mean, just for the holiday support. This is a time where people like us need support. We definitely need support. Regardless, like we said, the title of this, you never know what's going on in people. You know what I'm saying? you know, and with the sicknesses that we carry, you know, sometimes the mask can unmask and remask. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to just ask somebody, how you feeling? How you doing? You okay? You know what I mean? Or calling somebody and just checking on them, you know, that you know that's dealing with mental health, you know, or drug and alcohol addiction.
Or even losing a loved one. I had like 2 people from our, 3 people from our SGS ministry lost their loved ones recently. I think one is having a funeral Friday, and the other one just lost their mother. So
prayers are up. We put prayers up, you know. But y'all, thank you so much. With God's will, we'll be back next Wednesday, and like I said, I'm gonna try to pop up, you know, on some things and put the boutique on, you know, coming live, y'all, coming live. Okay, so don't be surprised, you know, come on, you know, and catch that Christmas sale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's Christmas time. You know, I got awesome things that you can give away for a Christmas gift, you know, or to just show people that, you know, you are living in your truth. You know what I'm saying? You know, so, I mean, that not only just represent, you know, my logo, it represents you and who you are. You know, living in your truth, you know. So, with that, y'all, please share this live once you're done. We're done, and you're off. I'll be forgetting to say that sometimes, even though a lot of you still share. I mean, if everybody push that share button one time, it can help thousands and thousands of other people. So I'm gonna end this, closing it with the Serenity Prayer. You know, if you want to make the prayer, I can allow you to pray. Or, you know. God grant me the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God's will, not ours. So I will see you guys. Stephanie, call me. Call me. Anybody that wants to come on Living in My Truth, you know, and help people, help us save people. And people wanting to save their lives are willing. Give me a call, you know, messenger me, text me, you know, let's do this. All right, I thank everybody for coming on this week. Thank you, baby girl, and I'll see you guys next week.